The alarm in my chest went off before the teacher even finished the sentence. Apex predator. Those 2 words alone were enough to make every student in the room sit up straight, because on my planet, we do not joke about things that can end you in one bite. My name is Vren, and I was sitting in the back row of Xenobiology Hall 4 when the lesson began that would change how I saw the galaxy forever. Our teacher, a tall gray-skinned instructor named Solt, stood beside a glowing screen showing the most dangerous creatures known to explored space. The Kryn hound, the Scarl wormcat, the Drenic sand reaper. Each one was a nightmare with claws, and each one had a kill count long enough to make young students like me grip the edges of our desks. Solt's voice was calm, but firm. He told us that every civilized species had learned, over thousands of years, to stay away from these animals. Even the boldest warriors from the strongest worlds respected the law of nature. If you saw a Scarl wormcat in the wild, you ran. You did not fight it. You did not study it up close. You survived by staying far away. I remember feeling a strange pride sitting there, listening to how careful and wise our galaxy had become. We had rules, we had warnings, we had generations of caution passed down like sacred knowledge. Then the door opened. A human girl walked in late, holding a metal cup that steamed with something that smelled sweet and bitter at the same time. Her name was Lucy, one of only 3 humans on the entire station, and until that moment, I had barely spoken to her. She looked at the glowing image of the Scarl wormcat on the screen, tilted her head slightly, and said something under her breath that only the students near her could hear. "Oh, that is just a big cat." The room went silent. Not the kind of silent you get after a loud noise, the kind of silent you get after someone says something so strange that your brain needs a moment to process it. Solt turned slowly, his eyes narrowing, not with anger, but with the sharp curiosity of a scientist who just heard something impossible. "Lucy," he said carefully, "would you like to explain that statement to the class?" Lucy took a sip from her cup, walked to an empty seat, and shrugged like she had just been asked what she had for breakfast. "It is basically a giant cat," she said again. "Sharp claws, bad attitude, likes to nap in weird places. I have one at home." A student beside me, a small furred creature named Toza, let out a nervous laugh, thinking it was a joke. But Lucy was not laughing. Solt stepped closer, arms crossed. "You claim to have contact with a Scarl wormcat. That creature has a bite force strong enough to crush battle armor. It has killed trained hunters wearing full combat gear." "Yeah," Lucy said, nodding slowly. "He tried to bite my hand once when he was a baby. Mostly because I was late feeding him." The room erupted into whispers. I looked around and saw wide eyes everywhere, some in fear, some in disbelief. A tall reptilian student in the front row actually stood up from his seat, as if ready to run out the door just from hearing the story. Solt raised a hand to calm the class, though I could tell even he was struggling to hide his shock. "You are telling us you survived an encounter with a juvenile Scarl wormcat." "I did not just survive it," Lucy said. "I adopted it." The silence that followed was heavier than before. I felt my hearts, both of them, beating faster in my chest. Adopted. That word did not belong anywhere near the name of that creature. On my planet, if you saw a predator like that even from a great distance, you built walls, dug trenches, and prayed to every star in the sky. Solt walked to his console and pulled up the creature identification file again, showing statistics that every student in that room had memorized out of fear. Height at full growth, 5 meters. Claws capable of tearing through starship hull plating. Known for hunting in complete silence before striking. This was not an animal you brought into your home. This was an animal you avoided with your entire life. "Show us," Solt said, his voice quieter now, almost daring her to prove it was true. Lucy did not hesitate. She pulled a small device from her pocket, tapped it a few times, and projected an image above her desk. The whole class leaned forward at once. There, glowing in soft blue light, was the scarl wormcat. Its fur was a deep shadowy color, its claws long and curved, just like the file described. But it was not hunting, it was not attacking. It was lying on its back, on a large bed, paws in the air, with Lucy's hand resting gently on its stomach. The creature's eyes were closed. Its enormous chest rose and fell in slow, peaceful breaths. "His name is Whiskers," Lucy said, smiling as if she were showing us a family photo instead of one of the deadliest animals in the known galaxy. Toza beside me made a strange choking sound, like her body could not decide whether to laugh or scream. Across the room, a student from a warrior species, someone who had trained his whole life to fight dangerous creatures, was staring at the image with his mouth slightly open, completely speechless. "How," Salt finally managed to say, "how is this creature calm? Our records show extreme aggression, especially toward anything that approaches its territory." Lucy leaned back in her chair, thinking for a moment. "I found him when he was small, maybe the size of my shoe. His mother was gone. He was cold, hungry, and honestly kind of pathetic looking. I brought him home, fed him, and he just kind of stayed." "That should not be possible," Salt said, more to himself than to her. "Back on Earth," Lucy continued, "we have been doing that for a really long time. Wolves became dogs, wild cats became house cats. We just kept doing it with bigger and scarier animals as we explored space. I guess Whiskers is just the newest one." I raised my hand, my voice shaking slightly as I spoke. "Does it not try to hurt you, even by accident? Its claws alone could—" "He knows not to use his claws around me," Lucy interrupted gently. "It took some training, sure, a few scratches when he was little. But now he is careful. He even lets me trim his claws." The reptilian student from the front row spoke up, his voice unsteady. "You touch its claws? With your bare hands?" "With gloves," Lucy said. "But yeah." Salt sat down slowly in his chair, staring at the image still floating above Lucy's desk. For the first time since I had known him, our teacher looked completely lost for words. He had spent his entire career studying predators from a safe distance, writing warnings, teaching students to fear and avoid. And here was a human treating one like a beloved companion. "This changes everything we thought we understood about apex predators," Salt finally said. "Perhaps the danger was never just about the creature itself. Perhaps it was also about how we approached them." Lucy shrugged again, that same casual movement that seemed so strange against the weight of what she was saying. "Animals are not evil. They are just animals. They get scared, they get hungry, they protect their space. If you give them safety and food and patience, most of them calm down, even the scary ones. Most predators in the galaxy would kill before ever reaching that level of trust," Salt said. "Maybe," Lucy answered, "or maybe nobody ever gave them the chance." The class stayed unusually quiet after that, each of us trying to reshape everything we thought we knew. I looked again at the image above her desk, at the giant creature sleeping peacefully with its paws in the air, completely at ease beside the small human who had raised it. It did not look like the terrifying monster from our textbooks. It looked content. It looked safe. Salt cleared his throat, trying to bring some order back to the room. "Let this be a lesson beyond today's material," he said. "We often believe we understand danger simply because we have studied it from far away. But true understanding sometimes requires courage that goes beyond fear." Toza leaned toward me and whispered, "Do you think all humans are like this?" I thought about it for a moment, watching Lucy calmly finish her drink as if she had not just shaken the foundation of everything the class believed about survival. "I think," I whispered back, "humans might be the strangest and bravest species we have ever studied." As the class ended, and students slowly filed out, still whispering about what they had just seen, I stayed behind for a moment, staring at the now empty display where the image of Whiskers had been. I thought about my own planet, about the walls we built, and the fear we carried for generations, and I wondered how much of it was truly necessary. Lucy walked past me toward the door, humming quietly to herself, completely unaware of how deeply she had changed the way an entire class of alien students viewed the galaxy. Before she left, she turned back toward me with a small, friendly smile. "You should come meet him sometime," she said. "He is really sweet once he warms up to you." I did not answer right away. Part of me wanted to run, the same instinct every species in that room shared, an instinct built from thousands of years of survival. But another part of me, a part that felt new and curious, wanted to see for myself. "Maybe I will," I finally said. Lucy smiled wider and walked out, leaving me standing there in the quiet classroom, staring at the empty space where a monster once slept peacefully in the arms of someone brave enough to see it differently. That day, I learned something the textbooks never taught us. Fear was not always about the size of the claws or the strength of the bite. Sometimes, fear was simply a lack of understanding, and sometimes, all it took to change everything was one human, one steaming cup of something sweet, and the simple, impossible words, "That is just a big cat."